Hey everyone, it's Kenji with Ecotone Explorer, and we're here at the Sea Otter Classic in Monterey, California at the hallowed grounds of Laguna Seca Raceway. And the Sea Otter is the biggest bike event in the world, and we're here with some of the coolest innovations that are relative to the whole world of outdoor recreation and sport. So we're here with Craig and with Hector, representing a company called Arrivo DNA in partnership with Emery. So this is a cutting edge technology that's bringing one of the coolest things to the market. I'll let them tell the story more than me, but just suffice to say, this is a launch here at the Sea Otter of a new technology to the world. Is that right?
That is correct.
Wow, so great. Well, Hector, why don't we ask you you're coming at it from the bike industry side with Franco Bicycles. Why don't you tell me a little about your background and where you're coming from? Yeah, right here.
Okay, all right. So I'm a product designer by trade, and so that's how I got my start in the bike industry. We founded Franco Bicycles 12 years ago. We are focused on the road and all-road categories, so high-performance bicycles, fully human-powered, and that's something that built-to-order bikes, really premium, and really taking care and making sure that the bikes are built appropriately for every customer. That's how we started, and over the years we started seeing this move towards electric mobility and electric bikes, and how getting more people on bikes, and how that has the potential to really disrupt the way people move. More so than just getting fit and riding bikes. This has the potential to get people replacing their car, maybe once more every week. And so once we started really seeing that was an opportunity that was presenting itself, we decided that we wanted to go into that market. And as we were exploring the electric bikes and how we can work on that, how we can infuse it with some of our Franco DNA performance, we met with these guys, and so we found Arrivo So we found Arrivo, and Arrivo was developing this technology, an additive manufacturing, which is 3D printing, and it was a technology that I had been researching for our Franco business. We're always looking for different ways to improve our lead times, different ways to improve our development life cycles, and just other opportunities out there. And then got in contact with the Arrivo folks that were working on this technology that I hadn't seen somebody be able to execute for the applications we needed, and so that's how it started. And then then I met Craig, and we started working on this product together, and so a lot of the benefits of the technology are for a company like ours that is looking for performance characteristics, that's looking for the ability to iterate as we're developing products, and then the ability to bring products to market faster. Like the technology really allowed that, and so that's been sort of the how we arrived to this bike. But it's really taking a new technology, a very disruptive technology, and it's also doing it in a new sector that I think is really disrupting the bike industry as a whole right now, and in a really positive way, getting a lot more people riding bikes. Yeah.
Thanks, Hector. That's pretty amazing. So you have Franco Bicycles.
Correct.
Is your partnership with Arrivo and Craig here? Is that Emery Bikes?
Correct. Yeah.
So Emery is the result of the collaboration.
Yeah, so Emery Bicycles is that's our electric bicycle brand, and so we're currently working with the Arrivo folks on the Emery, on this specific electric bicycle. Over time, we may integrate it into more of our lineup. That's some of the thinking that's going on. It's currently being spec'd on this electric bicycle. Yeah.
Gotcha, great. And maybe Craig, you can tell us a little bit about your background, how you came to this project, and what your views on how this technology will change the bike industry and really the whole outdoor industry.
Absolutely. So Hector's already given you some of the backdrop of how we ended up, working together. That Franco had an interest, and as they got into having a conversation with Arrivo, there was a real sort of obvious synergy there, because we'd been for the last several years up in Silicon Valley developing our own proprietary combined stack, where everything that is now shown here in the Emery One, the materials development, the process development, the software controls, and the printers themselves, they're all made here. That whole stack is developed here up in Milpitas. And when we got to talking with Franco Bicycles, they obviously understood some of the power of what could be done. They are a nimble enough brand that they know what it is to cater to specific customer demands and so on, and saw, well, hang on, we'd have access to a fantastic technology platform here, and this is something that we're bringing to market after fewer than 12 months of development from the initial idea, thanks to that type partnership. And obviously from our side, that lets us showcase the technology platform that lets us print something in a carbon fiber that is comparable in every way, mechanically to an existing high-end carbon fiber frame, and lets us bring it to market. Again, lets us show exactly what you can do with this kind of technology, and how it is not fringe technology. It's not just the sort of technology that prints out a small amusing figure for a Christmas decoration or something, but you can build production parts, and you can build them here in California, and there's no offshore manufacturing, there's no additional chemical waste and so on. So it's been fantastic for us to partner with a brand like Franco and bringing the Emery One to market, to really demonstrate exactly what our technology can do with something that's a challenging mechanical application, but also something that everyone can relate to in terms of mobility.
So that's fascinating about the frame development. And could you maybe tell us a little bit more, because I think what we're trying to do is connect the dots to folks that might not know so much about what 3D printing is, or even how it would apply in their life or in their business. Can you tell us a little bit more about additive manufacturing?
Absolutely. We talk about digitizing the process in a traditional process development, product development. If you were going to design something like this, everybody's familiar at this stage with computer-aided design, that you design it in a computer, but everything gets very traditional right thereafter when it comes to making molds and tooling and all this kind of stuff. For the Emery One here, none of that was actually true. As soon as we had the computer-aided design done, we could then send it through finite element analysis, to do a structural test of it and so on, which is our own software, which also comes up with, okay, so how do you print it? And then what actually happens? So you can see the frame here. This is printed as one single piece. And what the printing process actually looks like is this would be laid down flat, and we would have a surface underneath it that matched the outer surface of this for the printer to deposit material onto. And then a large industrial robot with 6-axis degrees of freedom, sort of thing you might have seen in a car factory, with our equipment on the end of it, comes along the predefined paths that we've pumped out of the software, lays continuous carbon fiber out here, and the way that works is the fiber comes through the robot, goes underneath the roller, it's heated at the point of deposition by a laser. It's a purely thermal process, not a chemical process, and it lays carbon fiber down on the exact paths that have been defined in the software and the FEA layup to say this is what's going to give you the mechanical properties that are desirable in this piece of equipment, obviously in this case a bike frame.
So that clarifies it a little bit like mud for me, but maybe more for our audience.
Yeah, there's a, we are a direct-to-consumer brand on the Franco Bicycle side, and so it's a customer-focused company. So every bike is built for one specific rider, and so when we approach new technology like this, that is obviously very complex and very advanced. We have to think about, okay, what are the benefits to us, but also what are the benefits to the cyclist, to the end user. And so the benefits to us are very impactful. Like I mentioned earlier, a lot of it has to do with our product development life cycle, time to market, iterations, those types of things. But to the end user, to me, there's something that's just really special about this technology that Arrivo has. So when there is a traditional layup process, everything is laid by people. There are instructions, and then like we do on our current bike, everything is laid by hand. And so it's pretty proven. It's been around for a long time, and it's successful. Uh, but with this process, all of that is done by robots. There's a lot of great people behind the company, doing this. So there's a lot of people involved, but ultimately the it's a machine that's laying down the pieces, or the strips in this case. And so what that means that it's literally perfect. And so everything, and there's sensors in the technology that are documenting as everything is being laid out. So what that means is that everything is accounted for, and we know with a lot of we're just very confident in the end result that it's going to be exactly what we set out to design. So ultimately, the end result there is safety. Like the ability to be that confident in the end result, I think is going to be a very big deal. Yeah.
Very interesting. Very cool. So I think what we're trying to do is connect the dots here. This is a very new technology that's going to come to market and kind of disrupt the entire supply chain of how things come to market. And certainly there's going to be companies that are freaking out a little bit, and some that are intrigued, I imagine, as well. And in the outdoor world, they might not have as many applications. There's skis that have carbon fiber layups. There's poles and other structural things, maybe some tent frames. But are there other examples of how this technology is applied in other markets that might inspire some of our business followers to think about ways that this might work? Maybe I know you have a frame there from something.
Not the outdoor market in quite the sense that you mean, but this is from an Airbus airliner test. So this is a seat frame that's printed using the same technology. As far as the kinds of things that you're talking about, imagine any hard object could potentially be constructed with this technology. So anything that's metal or that's fiberglass right now, and in particular anything where previously making a relatively small volume of those things would have been cost prohibitive because of the tooling required. Well, there really isn't any extra tooling required. There's close to zero customization of anything beyond the software pipeline required for building any old part. So like if Hector and I would have a conversation and said, we want the next one of these frames to look a little different, they could do so. So anyone who's manufacturing a part that might be in fairly low volumes and so on, and currently is constrained by their manufacturing technology and is really having to design to that manufacturing technology, would instead, with this process, really be able to just design to what mechanical characteristics they need from that material without incurring that incredible commitment of time and capital to bring that product to market. So we can we can enable you to bring that product to market with almost none of that overhead of traditional manufacturing.
Well, and there's some other benefits too I want to ask you about, but just so I'm clear, in my world of the outdoors, it would be like you were making a frame for a backpack, but instead of having 3 sizes, because that's what you can tool up for, you can make essentially 10 sizes if you wanted. Yes. Double extra small and medium extra small, and then double extra large. And
well in fact, we'd say I'd go one further and say, imagine you had you needed to snap a couple of selfies with an app on your phone against a known background or something, and then it could be exactly the size for you.
Right. Both width, length, depth.
It can be biomechanically adapted to you specifically. And again, the same thing that Frank is doing here, with the Emery One in terms of that customer focus, is being able to bring a degree of customization that would have been possible before, but really would have been cost prohibitive for everything short of a space station. We can bring that to whatever product you have that needs serious mechanical performance, lightweight, and so on. All of that becomes available with this technology.
All right, pay attention, climbing companies. So one of the things I have a question about, you were talking earlier about the sustainability aspects of building locally and managing this process in the U.S. and even domestic, in a tight, controlled environment here in the U.S. Can someone, maybe Hector, talk about that?
Yeah, we're a bicycle company, so we obviously are very cognizant of our impact on the environment, and we would love everybody to just ride bicycles, and not just drive cars. But so with everything we approach, we look at what improvements can we make, and with what I work with companies in a lot of parts of the globe for our product, and having somebody here in California that we can work with, 4 hours away from us, where we can have conversations. It's produced there, and that's very impactful for us from a business standpoint, and then ultimately, from an environmental standpoint. And so every frame then is produced in Northern California by these guys. It's then transported down to us in Southern California. We finish every frame, so the frames are raw carbon and they turn into something like this, and then we assemble everything ourselves there. So we're able to keep almost the entire production, design, development, and assembly of the frame in California. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a big deal, and I think traditionally bikes are made, over in Asia, and then they're shipped, and there's a lot of, communication and such that has to go halfway around the world. So that's an interesting development. So if people wanted to learn more about the Emery bikes or Franco Cycling or even the Arrivo DNA, the 3D printing and technology side of it, where could they go to find that information?
Yeah, so Franco Bicycles, it's francobicycles.com, so on the web. And then Emery is emerybicycles.com on the web. And then Arrivo is it Arrivo? Oh, go ahead.
So we're at arrivo.com for anyone who's sort of composites diehard, but I would certainly encourage people to visit emerybikes.com, because that shows you the whole process of sort of gestation, bringing the Emery One to market. And it shows you the Arrivo printing process as part of it, and so on. But that, if you're more of a bike person or an outdoor person rather than a composites geek, then yeah, go and take a look at emerybikes.com, and you'll see exactly what it took to bring this bike to a production status.
Well, excellent. Thank you guys so much, Hector and Craig. Very insightful. I think that we'll have in the notes, we'll put in the different websites that you can go to, but emerybikes.com is where you can kind of see the story unfold. This is a launch here at the Sea Otter Classic, and you're watching Ecotone Explorer here at the Laguna Seca Raceway. So good luck to you guys. Have an amazing experience here, and I hope to see a lot more of these out in the market.
Thank you.
All right, thanks. Hector, Craig?
Thank you.
Yeah. So we just had our interview here with Emery Bicycles and a company called Arrivo DNA. This is a launch here at the Sea Otter Classic, and we're here in Laguna Seca diving into the world of bikes. This is the biggest bike event in the world, and we're finding those touch points, those ecotones that are relevant to the outdoor industry. If you like what you're hearing here, give us a subscribe, leave a note in the notes and underneath, and we'll get back and have a good thing to offer to you around the corner on our next episode here at Ecotone Explorer. Thanks.